G'day ladies and germs, Conor here from C-Dubs Media, back with another video. And today we're doing my long-term review of the OnePlus 10 Pro 5G version. So without further ado, hit the like button and the subscribe button and let's get stuck into the video. Let's go. Now, big shout out to OnePlus for sending us out for a review. Really appreciate that. And the big Phil, thanks to you for all your help with this as well. You know what? This is the 8GB version with 128 gigs of RAM. I do have to send the OnePlus back, so it's not going to be my daily driver. The Pixel 6a still takes that cake. But I certainly have had some good fun reviewing this and had some pleasant experiences. Now we are talking a 6.7-inch AMOLED display. We are talking a 50 megapixel camera and a 5000 milliamp hour battery. Now that's not all the specs, but we'll get into the rest of it as we go. And as I'm actually talking now, the OnePlus 10 Pro sitting over there updating to Android 13. So that's pretty awesome as well. Now for the build, we do have Gorilla Glass Victus on the front and Gorilla Glass 5 on the back. So it's a pretty tough device in terms of Gorilla Glass, but I still wouldn't go dropping it anytime soon. This is a really nice looking display and it is glass, so just be mindful. And it is IP68 rated. Now that's going to be depending on the region and depending if they actually go through getting that rating for each region, so bear that in mind, but it has been rated IP68 at least once, so that's good to know. You can get it wet in the rain if you're out exercising, running or cycling, something like that. You can get it wet, so don't stress about the rain, but don't take it swimming. Now that display, like I said, it's AMOLED, it's 6.7 inches, so it is big, but it comes in at 525 ppi and 120 Hz refresh rate. This thing is nice to look at. Now I've said in my other videos that refresh rate doesn't mean anything when it comes to performance. All it does is make your experience smoother and makes gameplay smoother, and watching video content can be smoother as well. So for me, it's just straight up a really pleasant device to use. Now, when you scroll, it is buttery smooth. I haven't had any complaints there for me. I love using it. Whether it's just scrolling my Google feed or scrolling my apps or playing games, I'm getting a really solid experience. It's pleasant. I can definitely notice a difference from a 60 Hz Google Pixel 6a. And it has a pretty sweet always-on display. Now, the Pixel 6a, my other Pixel phone, there's no color in the always-on display. It's just black and white. But here on the OnePlus 10 Pro, there's color everywhere, and you really can tell just at a glance where your notifications are coming from. I think that's a nice touch as well. Now, I was running Oxygen OS 12.1, but it's currently updating right now to Android 13. So pretty awesome. That's going to change a lot of things, and I'll go through some of them briefly when I talk about the software experience. We're pretty good there. I think with Oppo and OnePlus and Samsung and obviously Google, we're getting pretty consistent security patches, which to me are more important than the feature updates of going from, say, Android 12 to 13. I really would prefer to have constant security updates. Now I'm going to jump out of this environment for a couple of minutes and show you the video. Now most of this video is going to be outdoors in sunlight, and you'll see 8K, 4K, 1080p, stabilization on, all that stuff. So let's just go check that out. 1080p front-facing camera on the OnePlus 10 Pro. That's just stabilization on. Doesn't look too bad, eh? It's a pretty good image. It's got some good color in it, definitely. Focus is good. Skin color looks natural. I like it. 1080p. Just a bit of sample video here. This is 1080p with scene detection on. And I think it's a beautiful morning for recording. You've got really soft light everywhere. But, well, that's when you're going to do your filming, yeah? When it's the best kind of light. I like it. Okay, now we're in 1080p and I've turned on ultra stabilization, so you probably got a bit of a crop but a lot more steady video footage, and it's pretty good. I think, you know, like iPhone just came out and they're talking about their action mode, and I think a lot of other phones have that really steady stabilization built in. So it's good to see Apple still copying companies, but that's another story. What do you think of a 1080p ultra steady mode? Okay, so now we're in 4K on the OnePlus, and tell me what you think. Is the stabilization good or is it not good? I think at this stage, 4K, 8K, you're going to get really good quality. The things that will change is whether you can have scene mode or stabilization turned on. So when you're using 4K or 8K, using a tripod is going to give you better results, and setting up your image is always going to give you a better outcome. But when you go 1080p, that's far more like your run and gun, because you've got the higher frame rates, you've got stabilization, you've got scene detector, so it all changes once you hit 1080p. But 4K, 8K, for your cinema buffs, you creators, you're going to like it. This is 8K. What do you think? Looks okay to me. I don't think we're going to have much stabilization at 8K, but having 8K in a little phone is pretty impressive. I like it. I really like having this option. You let me know what you think of 8K in the comments. Again, front-facing camera, 1080p. This is going to be your reels, your stories, your TikToks, all filmed in this way. Looks pretty good. Nice clear image. Pretty stable as well. For those of you that like doing your walkie-talkie, I guess I'm in that category. I like it. I think it makes my skin look nice. I don't know if I did that on purpose. I've also got dual video mode, so you can see what I'm talking about. So I'm walking down the street now, coming up to the bridge at Goodna, and you can actually see me talking while I'm showing you my scene. I don't know how useful that is, but again, maybe in TikTok land it's useful. I like having the option. The specs in this camera are very similar to the Oppo Reno 8 Pro. Just quickly, 48 megapixel main sensor with 1.8 aperture. It's 23mm wide angle, which is pretty wide. Then we have a 8 megapixel telephoto, which like all smartphones and telephoto cameras, once you punch in pretty far, your image does start to fall apart a little bit, becomes a little bit grainy, a lot less sharp and that sort of thing. So once you get out of that 48 megapixel sensor, you are going to notice a difference in the quality of the pictures. But it's still a good camera. Like, this is a really good camera. And then we have a 50 megapixel f2.2 ultra wide, which is going to give you some really nice footage. 50 megapixel, nice and sharp. But again, it is ultra wide, so you're going to get a little bit of distortion around the corners for some of your photos, but that is the case with any wide angle lens. And then the front facing camera I really like for selfies. It is a 32 megapixel sensor and gives you some really good images. I'm really happy with it. You're going to be able to share these wherever you want to, social media, all that sort of stuff. And the detail is high. The saturation is high as well with the OnePlus 10 Pro, but not overly. I do think it gives enough punch, and that's what most people are looking for. Now, most photographers are looking for flexibility, but most phone users are just looking for a really bright, saturated, pretty color to share amongst their friends and family on social media. You're getting way more than that here with the OnePlus 10 Pro. I think it's got some good flexibility and you're going to be more than happy with it. Options are high. You've got many different options to choose from on the camera. You will not be left wondering what this camera can do because there is so much you can do with it. Now there is no headphone jack, but you do get stereo speakers, and I've really enjoyed, like I just sit at my table eating breakfast, watching YouTube or something. Quickly, I've got 10 minutes to spare while I'm eating. I'm loving the sound that's coming out of this device. It's really easy to listen to. For what it is, it's not tinny, it's quite pleasant to listen to, and you get that stereo speakers. So one at each end of the device. That's what you want. Now I do want to point out that it has got a fingerprint sensor under the display, and while I think that is great and it's probably my second best option for where to put one, I always long for the one on the back of the device where my finger just rests there and it opens it super fast. But on your OnePlus device, you do have face recognition and face unlock, and that is so incredibly fast on these devices. You will be really amazed at it, and it'll probably be your preferred method of unlock just because it is so quick. I do like the fingerprint scanner. I just wish it was on the back, and I'm really stoked it's not on the side. But what is on the side is the alert slider. I think that's pretty cool. I do use it. I've been using my iPhone and I've been using the OnePlus 10 Pro. It's just easy just to switch it. Now there is a setting on my Pixel device where I just flip it over on its face and it silences it. And that for me is better, but that doesn't work when it's in your pocket or if you're walking around with it. So it is nice to have that slider. Straight up, your device is silent or in vibrate mode. No fussing around, no pulling down your notifications. It's just quicker. Now when it comes to gaming and performance, there just isn't any problems here. Now we are talking the Adreno 730 and the Snapdragon 8th Gen 4nm. Scrolling, playing games, multitasking, there is no problems here with the OnePlus 10 Pro. It just was really pleasant. Now I did notice one thing, and like no offense to anyone over there at OnePlus, but there was quite a few times where I would touch my display and it wouldn't register my touch. So I don't know what's going on there. It was definitely present and definitely noticeable compared to my other devices. Anyway, it's there. It's a slight thing that I did notice. Everything else has been pretty awesome. The experience with the software and the performance tied in together. My experience, love it. I love it. I would happily use this device if it was my only device. It's not like I'd be like, yeah, great, I've got this phone. I'd be stoked to have it. I guess now we'll talk about the battery life. And you know, it wouldn't matter if the battery life was bad because you can charge this thing to 100% full in 32 minutes. But luckily, the battery life is quite good and I can definitely get through one full day on that 5,000 milliamp hour battery. I'm not wishing I had more battery. And the times where I might want to top up because I'm going out at night, like I said, 0 to 100% in 32 minutes, you cannot beat that. Now, the bigger players in the smartphone world have got a lot to answer for because companies like OnePlus are putting 80-watt chargers in the box, and that is making it super awesome to be able to charge your phone in 32 minutes. Now, my favorite 3 features on the OnePlus 10 Pro, in the first one is quick launch. Hold your finger on the fingerprint sensor and then keep holding it once the phone unlocks, and it will bring up 3 shortcuts for your most used apps. I love this. I've got it set up that suits me and I find it really handy because they're the main reasons I'm unlocking this phone is to go to those apps. The second software feature that I really find useful is actually the shelf. So if I swipe down on my home screen, you get access to clock, weather, music, all the shortcuts you want right there at your fingertips. And it is displayed quite nicely, as you can see here. Now you can edit this and add in more widgets that you want to have on your shelf. The shelf is not bad. And then my probably most favorite software feature, which is not one that's used very often or not one I hear talked about often, is where you can actually change the size of the folders on your home screen. So as you can see here, the Google folder is enlarged and I can actually scroll through the folder rather than having to tap to open the folder and then scroll through it, which I do find handy. It's a little bit different as well. It doesn't look like everyone else. So they're my 3 favorite features on the OnePlus software. I really do find it quite useful. That is my review of the OnePlus 10 Pro. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. Now, if you can, hit the thank you button, spare us a couple of bucks towards the channel. It'll go towards getting new gear to help make the videos better, or maybe go towards getting new equipment to review for people like yourself. So don't be shy if you can. If you cannot, simple like, simple thank you in the comments down below would be much appreciated. Thank you everyone for watching. I really appreciate your support, and I will catch you in the next video. Check you.